These are freshwater, or Johnson's River crocodiles, but I just call them freshies.
They might look like they're living the high life, but unfortunately for this lot, their very existence is under threat.
I'm afraid it's that old problem, the cane toad. They've managed to find their way across the whole top end, and reports suggest it's only a matter of time before they arrive at Winjana.
Pretty much everything that tries to eat a cane toad dies. No questions asked, it's over.
The problem is, the cane toad is a perfect size for a snack. And let's face it, the poor old freshie doesn't know any better.
Freshies are relatively small in the world of crocodilians. Males grow up to 3 metres and females about 1 metre shorter than that.
They're fish eaters, and that long, thin snout with razor-sharp teeth is designed to catch and penetrate the scales of fish. There's at least 200 freshies just in this water body. Now, I wouldn't say they necessarily get along. There are dominant males that are obvious because they're back sitting proud of the water and they're letting everyone know that they're the big croc. Big crocs are dominant, small crocs less dominant. If you go too close to a big male, he'll certainly bite you, and if you're small enough, he'll eat you. Less than 1 in 100 hatchlings makes it past the first year of life. Freshwater crocs differ from their larger cousins, saltwater crocodiles, by the fact that they're restricted to freshwater. A full-grown male freshie only gets to 3 metres opposed to 6 metres of a salty, and by nature, they're less aggressive. Attacks on humans from freshies are pretty rare. When they do happen, there's only 2 scenarios. Someone's gone swimming, too close, maybe trodden on them, bumped into them, and they've copped a bite, or you've got a big territorial male, and like any animal, they'll defend their turf. It's about to get dark, and every night something totally wild happens right here.
Roosting up in the trees during the day is the local population of fruit bats.
These are little red flying fox, and this is a daytime roost. Now, their goal through the day is to escape the hot sun and stay cool in the shade. But for some of them, the heat's just too much, and they must get a drink before they head out to feed. And when they do, they come here. This is the last remaining decent body of water along this stretch. When the bats come down to drink, they can't walk on the ground, so they fly. They actually hit the surface of the water with their chest, and that becomes wet. Then they continue to fly, and they lick that water off their breasts, and that's how they have a drink. The danger is having a drink with 200 crocodiles in this pond. Now, the crocs get in the middle where all the bats are going to hit, and they sit there, mouth open, ready to snap any bat that comes within strike zone. Now, freshwater crocs are fish-eating specialists, but when something like a bat, an easy meal, drops in on your doorstep, how can you say no?
For the fruit bats, it's a dangerous game of chicken. With thirsty bats and a setting sun at Winjana Gorge, it's showtime. For the most part, the cheeky bats get away with it, scot-free. Their flight paths are so close to the hungry crocs, but after a few close calls...
The show's over, and I've seen a lot of things in my travels, but that is truly special. The crocs went nuts. Leave the boxes here. We'll jump in and get our traps.
It's a special day here for us at the Australian Reptile Park. My colleague Nick is helping me round up 3 Tassie devils that are going to help us with some groundbreaking research down at Sydney University.
We've got someone. Tasmanian devils are suffering from a disease called devil facial tumour disease, and it's sending them to extinction. Hello, mate. Okay, 1, 2, 3. There we go. Got him? Yep. 1 devil from 1 trap. That's a good start. Now I need to check the rest.
We've lost over 90% of the devil population to disease. It's just devastating. So it's a real race against time to find a solution.
Door shut.
Someone's home.
Got a devil?
Yep, definitely.
Beautiful, let's have a look. Hello, mate. I'm really excited today because research is something that I don't normally do.
1, 2, 3.
So to see how it happens and see the scientists working at trying to establish answers and causes and maybe ways that we can save the devil, vaccines or a cure, that's got to be a good thing. I was worried last night that we wouldn't get anyone. We're 2 out of 2. Fingers crossed, we get number 3.
I reckon we're a fair chance.
It was too good to be true. We're empty. Trap number 3, the bait's been removed, but the door hasn't gone down. False alarm. Next trap. Door shut.
Beautiful.
And we have a devil.
Nice.
That's the 3 devils we need. Now we need to box them and get them to Sydney.
Right. 1, 2, 3.
Now it's time for the serious business. Down to Sydney, they're going to be anaesthetised, have bloods taken, get CAT scans to have a look at some of the internal organs, and it's not something that I've ever seen before. Today's research is looking into the devil's disease, devil facial tumour disease. The species is facing extinction, and any clues or insights as to what might be causing this disease or how we can prevent it or cure it, that's what we want to be involved in.
Thankfully, we got the devil safely to Sydney University, where I'm meeting up with Professor Kathy Belov, who's running a research study.
G'day, Kathy.
Hey Tim, how are you?
I'm good, how about you?
I'm good. So Tim's brought these devils in from the Australian Reptile Park because they're going to be part of a long-term study with us. What we've noticed is that young devils don't tend to catch devil facial tumour disease.
Look at that. We've got a little boy. So we'll pop him in the sack. 1, 2, 3. What's going to happen today is the devils will receive an anaesthetic that'll put them to sleep. Then they'll quickly take blood, but the main reason we're here is to put them through a CAT scan machine, to have a CT. Okay, so there's the head. Now it's time to anaesthetise him. And the best and calmest way to do that is to leave him inside the bag, get his nose into a corner and present the mask. And he feels like he's going floppy now.
This is the Napier Ranges in Western Australia. Yesterday, I was at Windjana Gorge, where freshwater crocs are under threat from cane toad invasion. The sun rises early out here and the days are hot, so I'm keen to get moving.
Just down the road from Windjana is Tunnel Creek. That's where I'm off to now.
The creek's formation is the result of river water cutting a 750-metre long tunnel through the rock.
This is another highly significant place to the Bunuba people, and not just because of its Dreamtime stories.
The story of Jundamurra is legendary. An Aboriginal man who led a rebellion against invaders in defence of his people's country and culture. But his story isn't quite as simple as that.
He grew up on a cattle station where he learned to ride, shoot and speak English. But later he got into some trouble and he did a bit of time in jail. But after that, the local policeman, Bill Richardson, employed him as a tracker and actually helped to capture many of his own people.
Unable to neglect his heritage, he turned the gun on Richardson and returned to his people. For years, he led a guerrilla movement against the Europeans.
A battle back up at Windjana saw him badly wounded. But a miraculous recovery only enhanced his reputation. Thereafter, amongst his own people, he was thought to be immortal.
But in 1897, police enlisted a legendary tracker called Mingo Mick, who caught up with the mob in their hideout, right here in Tunnel Creek.
At the age of 24, Jundamura's time was up. But his legend continues to this day.
In addition to its spiritual importance, Tunnel Creek's wildlife makes it particularly special. But to see it, I'm going to have to delve deeper.
It's time for me to head in the tunnel. And it looks like somebody's already left me a track.
This unique environment harbours all sorts of creatures. Fish, crustaceans and various bat species.
The bats use the limestone caves because they maintain a constant warm temperature and there's plenty of humidity. And what's amazing is that they fly around here in the pitch dark with echolocation. Now, most of these species are not audible to the human ear, so I can't hear them making a sound, but they're bouncing little sounds off the walls and that builds a picture of where they're flying and what it looks like.
Not only are these sound waves helping the bats fly without bumping into things, they also tell them where their predators and prey are. Here's the first colony of bats, and let me tell you, this is a real treat. They're ghost bats and they're a rare endemic to Australia's north. They get their name from the thin membrane that makes up their wing, and when flying at night, it looks ghostly. These bats really are the stuff of nightmares. Well, at least for mice, birds, geckos, small snakes and other bats. When they grab their prey, they'll hold them down with their thumb claws and kill them with one bite to the neck.
I've come to a section of the cave where a large portion of it has collapsed, so there's a big pocket of daylight. And above that are some black flying foxes and they're roosting there. But something I wasn't aware of, and I certainly didn't know existed in this cave system, is there's a colony of black flying fox inside the cave. Now, flying foxes may be similar to microbats in that they're both bats, but flying foxes are fruit eaters and they generally roost in trees. I've never seen anything like that.
Living alongside the flying foxes are common bent-wing bats. During the day, they hide within the cracks and crevices, so sightings are uncommon. But there's something else that lives here, even deeper in the dark, that I'm determined to find.
There's some more tracks here. Somebody's showing me the way. Here's a track, and it goes right into the water, and there's a freshwater croc, just like his mates up at Winjana, except here, they've found a niche in a cave system. And freshies are fish specialists. That's what they eat. But I think in here, they've found a niche where they're eating bats. Maybe the fruit bat babies drop into the water, or microbat dies and drops into the water. I'm starting to realise they're a little bit more adaptable than I thought they were. 1, 2, 3. There's 4 freshwater crocodiles in here, at least. I can see that many. And it's near pitch dark. Found a spot in the middle where the roof of the cave had collapsed and there was a little bit of sun and heaps of freshy tracks. So they've figured out how to get their sun and vitamin D, but they're thriving in this cave.
They're one of only 3 known subterranean croc populations in the world. And just like the others, a lack of sunlight means they've developed a much paler coloration.
That light down there, that's the end of the tunnel. And I found what I came to see in here and in fact learn a few things. I've never seen fruit bats roosting in a cave. And the freshwater crocs, well, they're a little more versatile than I had thought. It's nice to learn something. That's the end of the journey for me. And he feels like he's going floppy now.
We've brought 3 Tassie devils to Sydney University to help out with a research project that's looking into the effects of the devastating devil facial tumour disease.
Not every day you get a devil here.
A CT scan is going to give us a great, detailed look at a healthy young devil. But In particular, it's hopefully going to show us an important organ in their chest called a thymus.
Now, the thymus in young mammals produces everything you need for a healthy immune system, but the thymus dies at about the age of 2. Interestingly, young devils under the age of 2 seem not to get the disease.
Okay, so we're good there.
If they can find out why and figure out what the thymus is doing, marry that up with the bloods and understand what's in the blood and what's being produced by the thymus, we could come up with some answers.
We should be now coming into the shoulders. And most interesting is now we're going to be very close to where we are expecting to see the thymus.
This is incredibly exciting, but it's also nerve-wracking. It's the first time we might actually get some details about the deadly tumour that's killing so many Tassie devils.
And that's what a devil looks like through a CT scan. Look at that.
So basically, this is the head, this is the heart, and then the thymus should be located here.
This study is critical because devils are threatened with extinction because of a contagious cancer, and we need to understand how their immune system works to be able to develop a vaccine, or at least to understand why devils don't mount an immune response against it.
We are just there. And this is the thymus.
Fantastic.
Well, I'm glad you found one.
And now we can watch it
Yes.
over time.
Look at that.
We're wondering whether these young animals are somehow protected from devil facial tumour disease by the immune system, and that's why we're trying to understand how the immune system works, particularly in young animals, and then how it changes as the animals age.
Hello, mate. This one's awake now, and that's very comforting because to see him asleep there on the table, well, it's rather confronting and not something I'm used to, but he's waking up, he's having a sniff, and he looks great.
With the first scan a success, we have 2 more young devils to go.
Okay. This is a little girl. Hello, darling. You're very important at the moment.
That's good.
The second devil's in now, and it's a little female, and I feel a lot more comfortable now. The boy went through, it was successful, everyone was a bit tense, but now, after seeing the thymus and seeing some results, it really makes it worthwhile.
Okay, we have the thymus there.
That's 2 down, 1 to go. 1, 2, 3. Here we go, number 3.
These studies are critically important because we need to understand why their immune system doesn't fight back, but also to ultimately develop vaccines down the track.
Okay, do we have a thymus?
Let's see. I think that's the first rib there, and that's the area that we are interested in.
Well, that is phenomenal, but is that number 3 waking up?
I think so, so we better go there.
What a relief, and such a promising start to help better understand the disease.
Today seems like a great success. Everyone is buzzing, and who knows what we just might find with the results. All right, there you go, little one. Thank you. She's up. Well, that's it. I'm really happy. I'm happy to see you guys happy.
And I'm looking forward to seeing these 3 back every 2 months.